that I've never taken sides against you anyway.
We're going up. Yeah. Hello there, guys. It's me, Brian Cockerill.
I'd leave it for people to
Yeah, no, I'm just letting everyone know who's here today. I'm with Shane Taylor. Just waiting for a few of you to come on.
I'll share it now on Facebook.
Come on, guys. Just get me a bottle of water. Shane, open that for this one. Yeah, it's knackered.
What's wrong with your arm, like? Right.
It's me. I've got to get 5 vertebrae on my neck.
Right. Have you?
So it's knackered me. Is
that all the big lifting and that?
I think so, yeah. Here's one on. Can you hear us, guys? Put your thumbs up.
Brian wanted a Brad Pitt look-alike on, didn't you, today?
Yeah. I think you better look than Brad Pitt. He's giving us that 20 quid later, mate. Yeah, it's coming on now. A few more on, please.
So how long have you been doing this now?
For quite a while now, about 6 months.
More subscribers?
Yeah, the subscribers, yeah, we've got about 5,500 today nearly. So it's not bad, is it? In 6 months, we're getting there. Loads of fun with people, just helping people in the Lord's name, and just trying to help people. Hello, guys, from Ireland. Yeah, it's going good. Pick it up now. People coming on now. Yeah, we had Kevin on last week. You see?
Oh yeah, I was watching them. Yeah,
we were good.
Been on a few, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done a few. He's a good lad, Kevin. His son's a champion.
Is he?
Yeah, he won the world record. Yeah, Peter, can you hear me? My wife's asking me. Yeah, mate, it's an honour, Ray. Help anyone, mate. You know that. How we guys get on there? We're up to 19, 20. Come on, get clicking away with them fingers. See that there? That's somebody's come on. Yeah, that somebody's put the thumbs up. I don't know who's put the fingers up as yet. Yeah. Right, we've got Shane Taylor on today. Welcome to the show, Shane.
Right,
thanks for having me on. Just go and ask him like you usually ask him. Shane, where were you born?
So I was born in Middlesbrough,
right?
And then born in Middlesbrough, and then my mum had to flee to Peterlee.
Right.
She had to go into a batter's wives home
because
of my dad.
Right.
And he had mental health problems.
Right.
And basically she had to flee, and that's how I ended up in
How old were you then?
If I was a baby. In fact, I wasn't born.
Right.
And so basically, my dad battered my mum that much that it was lucky whether I was going to be born or not.
Right.
And so she fled to Peterlee in County Durham.
Yeah.
And so that's how I ended up in Peterlee in County Durham.
Right.
And started growing up around there.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you stay there long?
Well, like most of my young life.
So what was it like going to school there? Being from your family from Middlesbrough?
Yeah. Well, I was soft and I had carrot ginger hair at the time, freckles.
Right.
And I remember just getting picked on all the time, bullied constantly off people. And and then in the early 90s.
Were you a little kid or big kid at school?
Just a little.
Yeah.
Even soft.
Yeah.
And I just used to get picked on and bullied all the time.
Even to the point in the juniors, even, yeah.
Yeah, chased home by everybody.
Yeah.
And so in the early 90s, people will know, back in the North East, it was huge for like joyriding and people taking car chases and burglaries and stuff. And so I started going down that route. And even though they picked on me and bullied me, like the older lads would use me to get through the houses, and if we scored a grand or something in cash, I'd get like 100 quid and they'd get the rest. And so I was picked on and bullied by them, but not as much as the others.
Yeah.
So it made me go down that route to hang about with them, and I ended up just burgling houses with and pinching cars, joyriding, hanging out the windows. And
what was it like? Did you have what was it like for your mum then? Do you think?
So for my mum, at the time as well, my mum was one of them who was a bit like a toughish woman.
Right.
And so if I went in the house all the time crying,
you would get.
I'd get a clip.
Get back out,
get outside and basically go and hit them back.
Did you have any brothers and sisters?
I had a step uncle and a step brother as time went on.
Right.
But my step uncle was one of them where you get drunk and he'll fight everyone.
Right. Yeah.
And he got a bit of a reputation. Not now special in that sense, but he's always battling people. He wouldn't back down.
Jekyll and Hyde when you had a drink. Yeah.
So I sort of looked up to him. Right. He was like a god to me. He was like my father figure in that sense.
Yeah.
and sort of went down that route and just kept getting picked on, bullied. And I kept leaving about my uncle having fights for people, and I'd think, oh, I want to be like that. And, and sort of just went down a route of being picked on and bullied. Started burgling houses, pinching cars.
How old were you at this time?
Whoa, you want the truth?
Yeah.
You're talking about 9, 10-year-old when I was. We actually remember we could only pinch metros
because
we could only snap the metros because about 3 kids hanging on the steering wheel.
Right.
And we'd have to get the seat right forward and put a cushion so it would sit us up.
So
we're literally just hanging over the end of the window.
So you wouldn't look suspicious when you were in the police.
And we would just fly around the streets taking but we wanted to take a chase.
Yeah, that was the part of the fun. Yeah.
And so we would take chase, have all the police helicopters out, and we'd be like just flying around, handbrake and
something like a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, it was
when you're a kid, you do that things on you. The thing is, what I said before, the police shouldn't chase them. They won't do it, will they?
They do that now if it gets too dangerous.
Yeah.
They call the chase off and they'll just cut you another day.
And when you do it now, you're older, you're obviously endangering your life. A kid on the streets and won't walk past. Whatever. Even the police are getting in danger, so I don't think they should chase them. I think they should sorry your car and it's just let them stop when they want to stop, whatever. Yeah. So where did you go from there?
So from there, it was. I remember one. You know when you get fed up. Yeah, people picking on you and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you just
say, one day
what was the day?
Someone just like sort of punched me, I remember. And when they punched me, it popped my nose. There's a few incidences what led to this, but this is one of the main ones.
Yeah.
And I remember they just punched me for no reason, popped my nose open. And when you're just like, I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
And I just hit them back and started fighting them back.
Yeah.
And when I hit them back and started fighting them back, I was a little bit of a loner as well.
Yeah.
And felt like the odd one out all the time.
Right.
And so when I did that first fight back, I remember everyone giving me attention. And people were like, oh, and I thought, oh, man, I like this. And so I started fighting back and I wasn't no rock hard man, but became like game. People, super game him. So I went from being picked on to if I was walking down the street and someone went, who are you looking at? I'd be like, I'm looking at you. Sorry for swearing. I'm sorry. I'm looking at you. What are you going to do? And I'd become a little bit gamer.
Yeah.
But so I then started fighting back.
You think you got addicted to it a little bit?
Not necessarily addicted, but just something happened inside me. Yeah.
There's a bit of buzz out of it when you with someone.
Now I'm willing to fight back. So all them people who were like, I remember walking down the street. I don't know if I've said this either.
Yeah.
I remember walking down the street one day and it was like. When it's sunny and there's about 15 lads having a drink out the front.
Yeah.
Every single one of them lads were lads who used to pick on me as a kid. Right. And I remember walking down the street and they were looking, and so I started staring back.
Yeah.
And I was walking past and I was staring back at them.
Yeah.
And when they realised I wasn't, one of them said, "Are you all right?" I went, "Yeah, I am. You got a problem?" And there's 15 of them or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh no, you Shane?" And when I walked away, I thought, "Yeah, you know now."
Yeah.
You know. And so I got a buzz out of that.
So
these
you're one of them ones where I used to say it's like speeding, and where even if you can fight, you know they're going to come back at you for a weapon or something.
Yeah, 100%.
So you know you've got to either be friends with them or do them in.
Or you've got to
do them in.
Kill them because they're coming back for you.
You've got to come back for you.
And so what I didn't count on, Brian, is I started to become mentally ill.
Right.
Like seriously mentally ill.
What was that through, would you say? Do you think you're a bit on your own a lot?
I think a mixture of thinking getting the wrong idea what a gangster was.
Right.
Watching too many gangster movies.
Right.
And then just
don't be blaming me.
Watching too many gangster.
Watching McIntyre's Underworld.
And then what happened was that I started to watch a film called Goodfellas.
Oh yeah,
there's a bit in the film where they kill their man, or they think he's dead, and he's in the boot.
Yeah, that's
and they're driving along,
there.
and they start hearing the banging.
Yeah.
And when he opens the boot, he goes home and starts stabbing him. It's going. Yeah. And I remember, like, all of a sudden, my hair stood on end.
Yeah.
And then I started to daydream and think, I want to kill people like that. So that's mentally ill.
Yeah, of course.
And so I would watch that scene.
Get over here.
I would watch that scene over and over and over again.
Right.
And even to the point where my mates would come in, I'd have them watching it and be like, "I was Shane, mate." Do you know what I mean?
I bet your mates didn't stay long.
I watched it a million
times. Right, though, you can get obsessed with things, can't you? People can get obsessed with, like, me with the training, I got obsessed with training, but I suppose it's not a bad thing, but you can get obsessed with anything, can't you? Your mind, it's mental health. My brother's mental health and members of my family, and I've been there myself when I've been bad, and you start thinking that he's out there, I'm sure, and there's no one there, you're about windows and you see things.
Well, what would start happening, Brian, is if someone crossed me.
Yeah.
I'd be there a year down the line still thinking about it and wanting to kill him and all that. And all they'd done is walk past and bumped into me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But in my head, I would start thinking, he's bumped into me. So when I'm walking past people and see them laughing, I think, yeah, he just said he bumped into me and they all laughing. I haven't done nothing about it.
Yeah.
And so it would make me...
Tunnel vision, yeah.
A year down the line, I'm sat there planning, I'd turn up at the doors and they'd be like, flipping heck, Shane, man, that was it. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But I'm still there thinking, they've mugged me off.
Yeah.
I need to get revenge. And then I got diagnosed, and I don't normally say it. So I think I have said it, but I don't normally say it. But I was diagnosed with 3 things.
Right.
So I got sectioned off.
Yeah.
I don't think people know that. But I've actually been sectioned off.
Right.
I went into the normal secure unit.
Right.
And then as soon as I went in the secure unit, within a week of fighting, they send 3 big bodybuilders, like staff over to try and restrain me. Yeah. And they couldn't restrain me.
Right.
And so they had to eventually inject me while they were trying to. When I hit the floor, woke up about 4 days after the summer feeling drunk.
You think that all when you've got mental strength as well.
I did have at the time.
It makes you mentally ill more stronger.
Oh, 100%.
You're so convinced that they're going to kill you or do something. So you're fighting virtually for your life.
Fight or flight, So a normal person's having a fight, you think you're going to die, and so you would fighting for your life, and it makes you that little bit more.
Yeah. Well, people don't know mental health is a horrible thing, Shane. You can just be sat there, beautiful day like today, and all of a sudden, boom, one little thing, one person can say something that'll trigger something up in your brain, and you go,
and you're there for months and months.
Should I go there? No, wait a minute. No, you're wrong, and then you go, no, wait a minute, you're wrong, and you're
having a battle. I call it like the angel on. When you see the cartoons, the devil on that side, saying, "Go on, just kill him." And then you've got the little angel saying, "No, what you doing? You believe in God, and you know what I mean." But at the time,
it's like that when I was on the crack, when I was taking drugs, I was sat there and I'd go and then I'd have a go and I think, and they're out there thinking, nothing had to place you out there. Really, that's over there, and you'd be nothing there. It'd be all crap, and you'd get up the next day and say and think, what was all that about?
Well, can I tell you how I was, Brian?
Yeah.
When I used to go to people's houses for a cup of coffee, they'd all have a brand new cup of coffee sealed just for me. So that when I walked in to make a cuppa, they'd say, "Come on, Shane, come and watch me." Right. And even then, I started thinking, have they resealed it? So I started carrying your own cups of coffee and that, so I could make my own at people's houses. That's how.
That's how far you've gone,
Mentally ill I was at the time, and
it's not nice because you really, really believe it's
100%.
True, and you're really convinced no matter what anyone says to you. No, all right, I was wrong all them 3 million times ago. But this time, I know this is really real. Yeah, and it's not. It's just I call it cartoon land. And you go into a cartoon, you're in another world, and you come from this world to another world, and you think everything, somebody's up to something.
I noticed that.
Somebody like a postman, I'm not sure he's a couple of copies. And they've got a postman in the house. You want your mail quick.
Well, can I tell you?
I know it's funny, but it's better to be laughing.
I'll tell you a scenario. I'm in a car with 2 friends, and out the blue, one of them said, "Oh, we'll have a mooch out. We'll go up the Where is it? That place where people go and you always serial killers have put bodies and all that."
I don't know.
No, well, there's a
I'm saying nothing.
The Moors.
Oh, yeah, they said,
we'll have a
we'll
have a look up the Moors. So in my head, I thought, the Moors, are they planning to kill me? So I said, I will come to mine for a cup of coffee. So they come to mine, they walked in the house. I walked in the kitchen, pulled out a knife, walked up, put the knife to his throat. I went, who sent you? You're chanting to me the Moors, are you? I'll kill you both now. The one of them pissed himself. This is my mates, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of them like wet himself.
Yeah.
And all the asses I were going for a drive up the Moors. Yeah. But in my head, I associated the Moors with going to kill me.
Yeah.
And so this was what. So I ended up losing pulse.
Did anyone say to you, you might have to go to your doctor, or did you not? You keep saying, I don't need a doctor.
No, so I'd meet people.
Did you deny it?
Back in the day, if I met someone like you, like someone who was tough and could have a good scrap, they'd meet me, and within 10 minutes, this is what they would say to me: "Something wrong with you. You're going to jail for the rest of your life. There's something wrong with you." And I'd say to them, "I don't get," because to me, I was normal. I felt normal. So I would say to them, "What do you mean? Like, tell me what you see in me. What makes you say that?" And they'd say, "Look, Shane, I can't. I don't know. There's something wrong with you."
I would know.
Do you know what I mean? And so
what it is when you trained in it. I'm a care worker. I've done a lot of psychology myself and stuff, and read loads of psychiatrist books, things like that. But everyone has that same trait as the illness. they're all convinced that much. They really believe it. It's like a game in your head. And then you'll get up one day and you'll feel fine, and 10 minutes later, just one little thing will go on. Somebody could spill a drink in front of anything triggers it off, doesn't it? My brother was the same.
I was diagnosed by the psychiatrists in the end.
Yeah.
With
BPD.
Schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Not schizophrenia, no, under pressure, paranoid delusions.
Yeah, yeah.
What is it? Psychopathic tendencies.
Yeah, psychopathic tendencies. Yeah, that's the one that's
and split personality disorder.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, let me tell you where that comes from. If someone mugged me off, I would then get paranoid thinking everyone was laughing at me. And I would then start having the psychopathic tendencies, and I would start imagining how I was going to kill them.
Yeah.
And so I'd be walking down the street and someone would just be laughing with someone else. But in my head, I'd be thinking, what, he's laughing at me because he mugged me off.
Yeah.
And then I'd think, I'm going to kill him, I've got to get him.
Yeah.
I need revenge. And I'd start daydreaming daily on how I'm going to kill him and how I'm going to slit his throat, how I'm going to do this, I'll stab him there, I'll pull his eyes out and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then I would like daydream it daily. Yeah. And it would get worse the longer I left it.
Right.
The worse I would want to get them.
Yeah.
And
but if somebody says to you, the people say, I'd say the people I know, it's you need to go to the hospital, you need that, you need this, you need that, and they'll go, no, it's all of them. When you start saying it's all of them, that's when you know, that's to tell people out there. When you start blaming everyone, that's when you know you've got mental problems, mental health, and it's nothing wrong with getting that. Tyson views like Mike Tyson, Bruno's that I've got it, loads of people have had it, but you need help. You need help.
When my own mum got scared of me, my own mum and my own family, and that upsets me.
This is another thing, people. You scare yourself, don't you? You sat there scared shitless yourself sometimes over things what you think you're going to do and what you could have done. And you think that could have got.
That's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Even I'm not scared of people.
No.
I'm scared of how far I'll respond if people come at me. If that makes sense.
Of course it does. Yeah.
And so it's like
it's not what they can do to you.
It's what you know.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people too.
Yeah.
And so it's a necessary. It's keeping right with God what keeps me right. If I don't have that, I don't know what would happen to me. Do you know what I mean?
And yours,
and family and stuff like that. Yeah.
Big lovely kids, aren't they?
Yeah.
They'll jump all over you. Yeah. So when did you find God?
So what happened was I was in. I went down a rampage in prison. So I went. You would have thought.
Yeah. Well, sorry. How did you go to prison test then?
So I went into Hartlepool, and there was a local lad in Hartlepool who was a bit of a nutter, really.
Yeah.
Like he'd been out of jail for stabbing people himself, and he's well known in the prison system and that.
Right.
And he come up. There was an incident. He come up. He pulled out a hammer. He smashed, them mel hammers.
Yeah, yeah.
He smashed the mel hammer across my head.
Right.
As he did that, I pulled out a 9-inch kitchen blade and I stuck him in his head there, and it come out with his eyebrow there. Right. It went 4 or 5 inches through his head.
Yeah.
I was then on the run for attempted murder for him. And then I think I got caught, but I got bailed on no further action. And while I was on bail, I went into Pete Lee.
Right.
And there was a lad in there who heard of it. Someone passed a rumour what would get anyone involved. And he listened and he tried to pull me up in the pub. And I used to sell ecstasy at the time.
Right.
For people who might not know, like
ecstasy drugs.
Not maybe occasionally on a weekend, but I wasn't like on drugs in that sense. And I couldn't get rid of them because they were Mitsubishi triangles and they had speckly dots in, brown speckly dots, or grey. And someone passed a rumour out around Pete Lee that they had heroin in. And in them days, heroin wasn't a big thing in Pete Lee. No. It might have been about a bit. Yeah. So no one was buying them. So what I did is I got them and I took them to my mate and I walked in the club and I said, here, have a free night. Chucked an couple hundred or something to him. Yeah. And he'd have been buzzing, So when this happened, this lad comes, he pulls me up, he said, I want a word with you. And he's there. And I went and sat down on the table, so it was like me and you, sat down, and I went to explain myself to him, and I thought, wait there a minute.
His area.
I'm not explaining myself to you. Yeah. And as I'm saying that, I looked to the side and I remember thinking, wait there, this whole club's listening, he's just pulled me up here. Now, if I walk away from this scene and don't do anything, it looks like I'll back down. I'm a mug. Yeah. So I made a choice in my head. I thought, I want to wipe you out. I want to show everyone around here, don't pull me up.
Yeah.
So he said something to me, O'Brien, at the time.
Right.
He come forward a bit and he went, you want to mess about with the big boys? And because I was mentally ill and I thought I was the big boy, something snapped when he said it. Yeah. And as I I went into his face and I said, no. I said, you just messed about with the big boys. I said, get outside, I'm going to kill you. So I walked out, got me knife ready, and I walked out, and he didn't come out. So I thought, oh, he's back down. He's weed safe. He's flapped it.
Yeah.
So I went back up, and there was a load of lads in front of him, and the kind of handy lads that were saying, don't go out there. He means what he says.
Yeah.
If you walk out that door, he's going to kill you. And he was like, move, you know, like I'll sort him out. And the door opened. I stood at the top of the door because there was steps at the pub.
Yeah.
And when the door opened, I just turned around and stuck it straight through his body. And what was strange for me, what I remember it in my eye really, is it went in, made no noise, and then as I pulled it out, it made like a like sound like that. But I thought I missed him, even though I saw it go in, because there was no blood. And I was stood there for a second thinking, did I actually hit him? Like considering to do it again. And then all of a sudden he just dropped. And then blood, just like a tap of water. It started dripping down the stairs, like just going down and down. I was for the neck, and then two lads jumped off, pulled out knives, and I was in the middle. So now it's a standoff. So as I'm trying to get him, he's trying to come in and stab us. So I'm turning to him, he's trying to come in and stab us. And I thought to myself, one of them was sort of lunging forward with his head and coming in like that. And I thought, right, if I pretend to go to him, he's gonna back up, he's gonna come in, and I can get him. And I'll get him in the temple. And so as he's come, I went pretend to go to him. As he's come forward, I've swung with all my might. If it had hit him, he just sort of got his head back, and it sort of skimmed his face. If he never got his head back, it would have went straight through his temple. The strength I did it, and he just went. Phew. He went to his mate. He means business. He said, "Oh well, let's go." And then I just stood there and I said, "See you." I said, "You pulled a knife on me." I said, "I want you more than I want him now." I said, "You're dead." And then everyone shouted, "Police!" I ran away. I'm now on the run for 2 attempted murders. I had loads of different charges which were dropped, but the main ones were 2 attempted murders. You plea bargain. If people don't know plea bargain, it's when you solicit the plea bargain.
You could be looking at 10 year.
And then
5 years.
So I plea bargained to a Section 18. And then
that's 110.
And Section 20. So I got
that's just a sort of assault, isn't it?
And so that's and I think there was a kidnapping involved at some point where it was a bit of a setup. Someone got done in, but he told the police that.
If you'd have been a broadie, but you'd have been not the wrong way, wouldn't you?
So I
said shading.
So I basically someone claimed that we kidnapped them. We stripped them off, put them in the boot. Took them to a factory, stripped them off, put them in the boot of a car, pulled them out, tied them up, braided them till he was in pieces, put him back in the car, went and chucked them out in the street. And so that's what he claimed. So we had them charges and that as well.
Did they get dropped off?
They got dropped, in the end. But basically, eventually, I'm in prison. But when I go back into prison.
Have you been in prison before this?
Oh, Lord, just in and out all my life.
What was the very first time you went to prison?
I got Section 53 at the age of 14, 15. I don't know that. It's Section 53, I think, at the time. It might be changed now, but Section 53 meant if you were under the age of 16, you're classed as a child. And so they couldn't sentence you over 2 years. And if the Section 53'd you, it means it can give you a bigger sentence. And I was the first person in the North East to get Section 53.
So you were classed as an adult. At 15.
They sort of, you could say that, they've given me an adult sentence. And so I went into the AQSQ unit, and my mum might kill us for this, but my mum used to bring the drugs in there for us on the visits.
No, she didn't.
So my mum used to bring all the drugs up. I used to love it, you know. And as a kid, I was only young and first in, but what happened is I had loads of mates in Dearbolt, and all my mates were like, "Come in here, man, come in here." And so I ran away on purpose not to go to Dearbolt. Went into Dearbolt. Me and a little lad called Beady, Stephen Russell from Sunderland. Absolutely hilarious, this Brian. Went into Dearbolt. Me and a little lad called Beady, Stephen Russell from Sunderland. Absolutely hilarious, this Brian. So we planned to have a little riot. And the prison screws were playing with the pool table. And so we were like, I walked over and I said, "What you doing?" Says, "I'm playing pool." I said, "It's not your pool tables for the inmates." I said, "Get off." We're like, "No." So I grabbed all the pool bottles, pulled them towards us, started putting them in here. Little Beady said he'd back me up, right? So what happened was, Beady's like that. At the time, he was like that, right? So I started chucking the pool balls. Beady ran over, grabbed the pool cue with his top off. Went, I'm an animal! Tried to snap the pool cue with his... Tried to snap the pool cue with his leg, and he was going... and they couldn't snap, right? So he just used it instead. And we ended up like, you know, when they sort of come into you slowly, loads of them, they get you trapped into a corner. So we ran into this computer room, locked it off, and we're going to barricade. And we made a deal, like, we don't get muftied up, we'll come out. Because you know what happens when you get muftied up, don't you? Get a good kicking. And so... Anyway, that was my first little encounter with the system of doing something like that. I got moved to, is it Moulins prison?
Moulins,
prison. Went there, kept my head down, got good, got out. And from then on, in and out for burglaries, in and out for stupid stuff all my life. My man for a couple of months, even though they knew it wasn't you, just get you off the street for a couple of months.
In jail where you had confrontations?
Oh, when I went to, so at first I didn't. In fact, the first ever sentence I got when I went to Debo, I got taxed. I actually got taxed off someone, and then again it was my life, Brian, was a stage. It was soft, getting a bit gamer, getting a little bit gamer, then getting madder. Then each time an incident was happening to me, it was making me get worse, to the point of where I come to a point where no one would be able to tax me, no one would dare, because I'd kill him. I'd have killed him on the spot, kind of thing. But at the time, that's what happened, and then from then on. Riots. I remember when I ended up on my last sentence, that was a different ball game. I took over Northallerton, and if there's people in prison who was in Northallerton with me, they'll tell you that themselves. I ran Northallerton prison, and young offenders, it's like that, isn't it? I'm the top dog. It's not like when you're in the cons prison.
No.
And so I remember an incident where
Scum epitomised it.
Same thing. But two incidents I'll tell you now. One person, I was on the pool table, he ran up behind. No, he said, get in the showers. And I went over then, and I turned my back on him, and he smacked me in the temple from behind. And I just saw sparks. And I turned around, and all I could see was fists. So I was just jumping back and just moving them until I could recover. Then I recovered, jumped in, smacked them, put them down. Screws come. So the next day, I went to my mate from Pete Lee. I said, you stand in that door. I said, and make sure, even if the screws come, you fight them. Do not let them in this cell. So I walked in the cell. The lad who got me from behind. I walked over, he was in bed. I went, nudged him. I said, get up now. He went, no. I went, you've got to the count to 10. I said, you got me from behind like that. So I'm going to give you a chance because I'm not like you. So I'm going to count to 10. I got to about 6. I said, and if I count to 10 and you don't get up, I want to pound you all over now. By the time I got to 6, he jumped up and I just smashed them all over the cell. My mate was stood outside the door waiting. He could clarify it as well completely. And my ex-mate, I'd say. And basically, smashed them all over. And there was another incident when the Bradford riots were happening. Can you not remember years ago? Around 2001, 2002. A lot of them people came into our prison. And they were coming in and muscling about. And he took over this pool table. And because all the lads knew I was off it, I didn't care. I didn't even play pool. Because all the lads would come to me saying, Shane, they basically, you know, they've took over the pool table. They think they run the prison. And they just got into my mental health head. And I went, what do you mean? He went, well, look there over there. That was our table. So I was like, right, leave it with me. Walked over. And I went to the lad who was playing pool. I said, hey, gives like that pool cue. And I just went through his head. He put his hand up, I snapped his wrist, smashed them. But the plan was, once I do it and start it all off, all of you was go and run to the other lads and kick off with the other lads. That's what happened. But listen to what happened though. So I've done that with the pool cue, whacked him, he put his hand up, snapped his wrist, jumped into the doorway. No one saw me do anything. All of them started scrapping. The screws ran past them all and got me and dragged me to the seg. Do you know what I mean?
That's why.
They dragged me to the seg,
thing happened to me all the time.
I was fuming. But
I went on the I was in Durham and I went and complained. You used to get a video every 3 days years ago when we first went in. And they didn't give us this video, so I kicked off after these screws. Anyway, they come for us. I was on the Saturday, they come for on the Sunday, a big squad of them. All stood again. I was coming here, I was screaming at him. They wouldn't end up walking out, goes down from one wing to another, goes in there, locked me in there. But all the lads sat down the yard. There was 176 down, sat down the yard. We're not coming in until you let Brian up the block and all that shit. So the screw was called Robson. Anyway, they got the multi squads from the other jails.
Yeah,
it's about 400. They were on there 2 days. Most of them stayed out. There was 12 went on the roof, and they brought that new law. You know, what's it called? Mutiny.
Oh yeah,
mutiny law, and they all got 12. They all got Benson, all them good lads from Stockton, and Brian Lancaster, and all them. They all got 12. They all got Benson, all them good lads from Stockton, and Brian Lancaster, and all them. They all got 2 year apiece. But mutiny had just come out from the Strangeway riots. Yeah. So that's the thing, you can't write now, can you? Because you get that now, you get rid of hammered, don't you? So, go on, sorry, mate.
Yeah, so another incident, there was a riot in London, and all these London lads came up, these black lads came up.
Yeah.
And one of them wanted to ship out straight away, so he was deliberately causing trouble. And his nickname's Crazy, he's from London.
Right.
And I didn't find out afterwards, he's meant to have a bit of a reputation down there, you know, amongst people. But what happened was, he ran up. Do you know how on the exercise yard, the standing groups, like all the Teesside lads and all the County Durham lads?
Yeah.
And this lad, ripped to death though he was, this black lad, started running up to all the Middlesbrough lads and go, come on, because he wanted to ship out. So he didn't like being up north. All the Middlesbrough lads were jumping back and like running away from him and that. And he was going round everyone doing that. He got to me, and there was this lad, one of my friends at the time, Michael English. So me and Michael got to us. And he got to us, and Michael looked at us and said, "Are you up for it?" He went, "Yeah." Just ran towards him, swung a couple of punches at him, and then he sort of stepped back. And as he done this, all the black lads jumped up. And if people in Northallerton at the time, they'll be able to clarify this. All the lads jumped up, and I thought, yeah, this is just for me, no buzzing with myself. I looked behind me, the whole prison, who were all running away from him, were stood behind me going, "Oh, Shane, we've got you back." And then I just ran at them all, and then all the screws come, part of the exercise yard off. Yeah. Dragged me to the Seg, and that black lad to the Seg. Yeah. Went down to the Seg. We had a little argument to Seg. I went back on the wing. Yeah. Walked past him. As I'm walking past him, he went, with his lips. Did like a thing like that. Yeah. And I had the metal tray in Northallerton. Used to be the metal trays at the time. I think they're plastic now. Yeah. I just ran past the screw and just bounced the tray off his head and just started fighting with him on the thing. And that was like every couple of days in my. And then I went to home house prison. Yeah. And then that's when the incident happened, what made me end up hitting all the top security prison system at the time. Right. And that was basically, at the time, I was about 19 stone, like solid. Used to love me training because I was mentally ill, Brian. I used to train because I used to have to be fit and ready at all times because I had this fear that people were coming after me. So, and
if you feel you haven't trained and you're down,
you think you're not ready to fight, and you panic,
I've lost the slow down. I can't fight this because
so
that's crazy, isn't it?
So the screws started, officers, they started stopping me going to the gym, doing things to stop me going. So one day,
put me in the cell, and they were giving me. I know they were drugging me because I was falling asleep all the time. I think it was that like Gactyl crap. Yeah. And I'd have it, and I'd fall asleep. And my food was always last. Yeah. And they put me in there, and I lost about 4 stone because you can't keep on if you're not training.
Yeah, they don't like it when you're big and strong and stuff. No, yeah. And basically, screw. One day I said, "How?" Because at the time, they come to the end of the wing, didn't they? And they shouted, "Jim," and you press your cell buzzer, and they'd come round and get everybody.
Jim screwed.
Yeah, he'd come round. Yeah. And they weren't opening my door. And one day, this officer come, and he was everyone was always talking about him being like a bully and one of them dog officers as well. Yeah. Always coming to me. Everyone used to come to me because they knew I was game to do anything. Yeah. So they'd come and get into my head, basically. But he was messing about with me. And then one day I pressed the buzzer, he come. I said, "How come you never let me out for the gym?" He went, "Oh, I'll make sure I'll let you out next time." So next time come, I pressed the buzzer, didn't even come on me landing. I thought, nah. Not having this. Yeah. So I waited through the door, waited till I could see him, not on the landing. Pressed the buzzer and he come. I says, "You never let me out for the gym." He went, "Oh, what a pity." I said, "See you." I said, "You're a dead man." I said, I'm going to get you." He went, "Oh, whatever. Heard it all before." And do you know what, Brian? What he didn't realise, he had the real deal in front of him. I was one of them. Once I felt I said something, I meant it, and I'm going to follow through with it. Yeah. And a lot of people in jail, the talkers, I want to do this, or they'll argue with the screws. Yeah. And when they argue with the screws, I'm going to do this, they'll calm down and they'll think, "Oh, sack that." Yeah. So I went out, the plan instantly kicked in. I thought, I'm going to get him. So I got a towel. And at the time, there was these big, massive coffee jars, about that big, glass coffee jars. Yeah. And at the time, I wrapped it around the towel, went out on association. Association's obviously where all the inmates go play pool, shower and stuff like that. went on association, went out. I went to 2 lads and I said to them, because I know that when it kicks off, the lads will get off, the officers will get off the wing and lock the wing off.
Yeah.
So I said to them, go and talk to the officers. And when you talk to the officers, they'll, once it kicks off, don't stand in front of the gates so they can't get off the wing. And then I said to this other lad, Robert Foley, who had mental health problems at the time as well, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I went to him and said, start chucking the pool balls at the screws. He was like, I don't know. I said, go on, just do it, man. You want me respect, do it. He went, all right then. And he just, I said, I'll deal with the rest. So I stepped back on the wall, wait till the inmates got a little heads up, you know, that they were there ready to block him off the wing. Yeah. I looked at him, I said, go on then. Started chucking the pool balls at the screw. Screw jumped up, went to get off the wing. We jumped in front of him to stop him. He pulled the baton out, ran towards him, who was chucking the pool balls. I ran over, smashed the bottom off the jar, and just ran up to the officer, and I was going for his face and neck, but he sort of, you know, when you defend yourself. So he was like putting his hands up like that, and so I was stabbing him, trying to get him to move his hands. And then he wasn't moving his hands, and then I noticed he started pushing me forward, and I was going back. And I remember looking and thinking, well, this doesn't look good. I'm the one with the weapon. He's pushing me back. I thought, sack it, let's go. And I just ran to him and got him into the doorway. And I started trying to get his face again and that. And he, again, protect himself with his hands. So I thought, I'll try and get his groin. So I was trying to stab him at the bottom, but he was putting his legs up. So his leg was up. So then I started getting the bottoms of his legs and stuff. That's what was in my head. So then another officer came. By now, though, Brian, I'm in a blacked out frenzy. So I don't know what's happening. But apparently I was alleged to have, the other officer came and he got stabbed. And then what happened was I did what I needed to do and I laid on the floor. Then they got me in a restraining mood. And you know, so imagine that being the coffee jar. The bottom was round, but it still had a jagged edge still hanging up. See that there? That you could see me bone. The officer got my arm, put it over that glass and just bounced his knee down onto my hand. I never felt a thing. Probably because my adrenaline was going and everything. Never felt a thing. And I just remember totally calm. Must have put the paps up than this. But totally calm. I just looked at the officer. I said, see you. I said, I'll set my life on killing you and your family when I get out for what you've just done. I said, you're going to die. And he was like, he must have thought, ooh, you know what I mean? Didn't make a noise. And then they got me hands. I went down the seg.
You know what? I've got plastic bottles.
And I went down the seg basically. And from then on, I went to Durham. I was shipped out of Durham within a week for being how I was. And I got took to Franklin. Now we're talking about a totally different game now.
Big jail for the murderers and people doing all the.
I went to Franklin. I was in Franklin. And when I was in there, I was all right a couple of weeks. They took me straight to segregation unit because obviously I'm on a charge against like 2 officers stabbing them. Went straight from there, straight to seg. Said, we're not letting you on the wing. I remember them coming in. I said, oh, we'll, you know what I mean? We've dealt with people like you all our lives. You know what I mean? Because I said, oh, you'll be shipping me out soon. And they were like, no, you won't. We dealt with people like you. Within like 3-4 months, I was shipped out. But I went down a stage of feeling like they were messing about with me. So that was it. I went into my own little war. So I can understand these people who go into prison with a little sentence and then never get out again.
Charlie Bronson.
Because they put you in this mindset of just get them back. You stop even thinking about getting out because of what they're doing to you. You stop thinking about what you're going to do when you get out. You set on, I'm going to get you. Anyway, so this led to me then battling with the officers. I end up being put on what they call CSC. So it's a closed supervision circuit within the segregation. So just as
like a prison cell in a prison.
Where it's like you're in a maximum security prison. They segregated you off from them because they think you're too dangerous to be among them. So you're talking about terrorists, serial killers. And then they're saying that you're too dangerous to be among them. And then they segregate you off from the segregation. So it's like another level of segregation.
So
like,
you're in a prison,
within the seg, And so what happened was, when they open your door, there has to be 6 or 7 prison officers in riot gear. If they feed you through a hatch. So they'll put like a metal hatch on this.
Did you get a dog? Did you?
Oh, I had all that,
I had that. When I kicked off on that thing, they would take me out, like you said,
dogs,
loads of screws.
Yeah, everything.
2 dogs.
Yeah.
They'd take me out. It was a big cage they put me in.
Yeah, where's that down?
I was in Durham. I was only allowed half an hour in this cage, just around shadow box. And there was a lad called Wilson, and he was in for murder. It was a big thing being up for the police. Reginald Winston, I think he was called. He was in. He killed the doctor on the stabbed him to death.
Yeah.
He had all these knives and guns on the wall ready to kill him.
Yeah.
Killed most of the place, and that he'd gone on the head, but he's still in now.
Is that not the one who had he had a chase in the car and he started firing at the police and that?
Oh, yeah.
Then he raided his house and found loads of AKs and stuff like that.
Found loads of stuff in the wall. I don't know if he got a chase, but he killed the doctor. And the reason why I think he killed the doctor, when he was a kid, he was playing football and he went, "Get away from my house with that ball."
And he remembered all that time.
Later, he said, "I'm going to get you," type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But he had all these police names written and he had all these police registrations and he had all sorts in the wall hidden in his house.
Oh, yeah.
But he was phoning them up and obviously wanting to get caught. Obviously, Reginald Wilson, he was just above me.
Yeah.
He was in the block. Yeah.
Yeah, so where was it at now?
It was in Durham. Yeah. I know what you mean by the dogs and the thing.
And then he had this hatch. They used to put the hatch on the door. And you used to unlock one side, put your food in, lock it, and then open the other side. That no physical contact. And then when I went on the exercise yard, I'd have to lie on the floor, put your hands on my head. Hands up like that.
Yeah.
The door would open, slam open. They would then, when the door slammed open, they would basically run in, put the shield on my back, tell me to put my hands off my head, or put my hands down or off my head, whichever route they'd done it. They'd search me, a man with ID that side, search me, one with that side. They'd go behind the shield, put the shield up, run back to the door.
Super security.
And then the next stage is I'd have to walk slowly with my hands on my head backwards till I touched my back on the shield.
A bit like the American jail.
Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah. And still, they'd get on the exercise yard and they'd be on a line. I'd have to lie on the floor, hands in one of them would have hold of me, and they'd go 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah.
And they'd run, all of them running. I'd still be getting up and trying to run to the gate before the gate. Yeah. And then when the gate shut, I'd be like, we've got to go back in. It was like you get lost. Yeah, dark place inside. You just get into this rut.
It drives you probably insane.
I'm stuck in myself.
When was the day you thought you had enough of it? When was it when you found God?
Well, I went through. I didn't have enough of it. This is the thing. Yeah. I kept going on doing what I was doing, and then eventually, I think I calmed down for a couple of weeks. And I remember so I'd done my rounds, Franklin, Full Sutton, Long Lartin, Whitemore, all this. Did my rounds, and then I think I was chilling out, and then
was the IRA jail and this one?
Yeah, they were all up there in Franklin, Full Sutton, Long Lartin, Whitemore. I've been in Wakefield, Seg.
That's on the island, isn't it? And if you're bored on you, the Whitemore on you.
Parker, no, that's Parkhurst. So Whitemore's it's not a top security prison,
right?
But it used to be. Right. I think some people escaped, so they put the category down. I don't know. Right. But I was just doing them rounds, and I started being good a little bit, and then the officers come and listen, a couple of more weeks, we'll give you a chance. We'll get you back on the wings. So they come anyway. I thought, they're blagging me. They just want me to be good for a bit.
But you're getting sick of being in that cell though now.
Yeah, and
you want to get out.
Moving me all the time. That's the point. They think it's bothering you, but actually it's good because you get bored with the same prison. Same system, moving around, it was actually helping me jail go quicker.
I went in for driving. I ended up being in 6, 7 jails. I think I did.
Yeah.
For a driving offence, getting moved me around. I did more miles than most people on the out. They still like you, do they? In 7 jails, just when you're out.
They hated me, and it's. Obviously, it was like a vice versa thing. I hated them. I was anti-authority and hated. But anyway, I'm in there, and I go to Parkhurst. When I get to Parkhurst prison, I met up with 2 people, and they clued me up really about making a bit of money. And I started getting involved in selling heroin. And again, if there'll be a couple of people who might watch this who will know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But we started getting involved in heroin and stuff, and I started making loads of money. But then I started thinking, wait there a minute, the people on the gear will do out for a tenner bag. So I started thinking, I'll pay them to do things. Yeah. So I started paying like someone a tenner bag to set the bin on fire, and then going on the other side of the prison, press the riot bell. So all the officers would go running to one side of the prison, and then the riot bell at the other side of the prison would get pushed. And he didn't like it. Oh. It was just disrupting the prison. Yeah. And then I got this lad come on the wing with a pot on, and he kept coming to me saying, "Hey mate, I'll put a hit on an officer, I'll do it." And my mate warned me as well. He said, "Watch him." But no, because I just hated the system that much, and I thought he might do though. I was willing to get caught. And so I went to him and I put 10 bags. I said, listen, I said, you up for doing this? He said, yeah. I said, right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I said, I'll put 10 bags of heroin under the door, and I'll basically, I'll get the other 10 to you to do the hit on the officer. But he had a plan. He smoked it all and ran off the wind, grassed me up. But in this meantime, there was this Christian called Robert or Ronald Bull, older man. And he come up to me and started saying, Jesus loves you. Jesus will set you free. And I thought, what an absolute plonker you are. Yeah. Don't tell me about this Jesus and stuff like this. And in one of the conversations, I remember saying, look, mate, unless God appears to me right now, and visibly, I'll never believe. Yeah. And anyway, he'd keep coming to me, and I was still involved in all this. And then one day, basically, he said something to me. He said, oh, have you, he basically said, look, I've got my attention. He said, I've been in prison for years and years and years. Yeah. He said, I'm never going to get out because he was a lifer. He said, and he pointed at his chest and he said, but I'm free. Yeah. And for the first time, I listened to him because I thought, what do you mean? Yeah. How can you be in prison for the rest of your life? You're never getting out. Yeah. But you're free. And so it puzzled me. And it just made me overthink. I'd go back myself and think, why was he free? He's in jail forever. You know what I mean? Mm. And it just puzzled me. And anyway, when this happened, I got dragged out. While that was my first encounter. Went down to the Seg, and when I went to the Seg for the hit, when he grasped me up, that had happened. Right. I ended up going to Segregation unit, and I decided to go on a dirty protest. Right. Went on a dirty protest. I'm not going to explain what that is, but I know it is. Went on a dirty protest, smashed the glass, got a thing, smashed the glass out the door, that long glass thing, and started shouting through the door. It was back to me old self, come on, it's war and all this, and going on like an idiot. And then the governor come, we went, chill out, we'll give you a TV. I was like, all right then. So I come off the dirty protest, got a TV, and I remember shouting out, hey lads, I'm just watching EastEnders, buzzing with myself because I was in the Seg. It's good, I'm watching this now, like, shut up, man. And then ended up
imagine watching EastEnders. It was one of the worst thing you could watch.
And then I ended up anyway, a couple of weeks into there, they said, look, we're going to send you back to the top security system. Yeah. And that's when I went into Worcestershire. Is it Long Lartin? What's in Worcestershire?
I'm not sure. I know a lot about Long Lartin.
So HMP Long Lartin. Yeah. Went into there. My door opened after a couple of weeks of being in there. My door opened and said, right, go to education. So my door opened, so I went in. Went down to the education department, got there, and they wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me through because I wasn't on the list. So I've come down and said, "Oh, education." Just for people who don't know, prison, they've got what you call movements, and you'll go off the wing. They'll come open your door, gym, works, education. You'll get to the other end. They stood there with a clipboard with your name on, and if you'll get education department, if your name's not on the list, they send you back to the wing.
Well, when I was in Durham 2010, had a fight with from Billy and beat him. Got remanded 110 days. He attacked us with weapons, through machetes and all sorts. And we won the fight, went to jail, got off it, but when they took me in, I wasn't allowed a job. They wouldn't even give me the job doing the tea. No, nothing. Well, no job. Put me on my own. Too dangerous, they said. All that crap. So they're in there. So I never got a job. I could go to the gym. I couldn't go on education. So the woman would give us the stuff under the door, and did like 3 courses, and I passed the courses. And I thought, I'm in here, I'm going in for a bit of a fight. It's just who you are, you get
it's because they'll know you're on the out, they'll know you've got a bit
I think what it was as well was being in there and they're up to my home jail. Yeah. Everyone was like, right. Everything. And me kicks off, we would fuck the road.
The law
because when I was on the yard, you get, I think it was 60 on each yard. Yeah. The whole lot were over from that fence and that fence are all sorts. So they get a bit scared when you they do. Right, you're doing that. Yeah. So what happened after that, mate?
So basically, I went education and they've said, oh, your name's not on the list. And I made a fuss, you know what I mean? Oh, I've got to go back there. And I must have done the officer's head in because he said, oh, go to chaplaincy. And so he stepped back and let me go to chaplaincy. And I was just buzzing because I didn't have to go back to myself. So
when you were not in God of 12.
No. Only incident I had was that Christian lad had just been saying it, was saying that.
Didn't believe it.
But it was making me think of it, I guess. Yeah. But I never believed it. How can you really? I thought. No. And then went into this room and there was like a circle of lads in this room watching this film. and there was like a grey-haired man, you know, hello, you know, all posh and that on the telly.
Yeah.
Nicky Gumbel called, but I didn't know at the time.
Right.
And I remember going in, and I walked in on a course called the Alpha course.
Right.
And it's like the basics of Christianity, and you get like cakes and biscuits and stuff.
Right.
But anyway, I went in there, sat down, and I thought, oh no, it's one of them flipping Christian things.
Right.
So I thought, I'll wait till the video stopped, and then I'll go. When the video stopped, before I could even do anything, the little woman was like, oh, what's your name? She said, oh, I told her my name. She said, your name's not on the list. I said, oh, I'll go then, which I wanted to anyway.
Yeah.
But one of the lads sort of leaned in and went, Shane, you get like free chocolate biscuits and gatos and that. I went, miss, can you put my name down, please? So I started going, do you know
what was the name? That would next time I'm going there.
So you were getting like, and on the Holy Spirit Day, they would have it where you get like big cakes and with all different ones, and you could, so that you can imagine that Alpha course was packed, but it was getting everybody in.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was there and going, and I would argue and debate and things like that, and just totally just didn't believe it. You know, I just thought they were mad. But what I respected about this course is they're entitled you to have your own opinion.
Yeah.
So if you go in there and say, look, you're all a load of absolute plonkers and blah, 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 they'll go, oh, that's good, great, that's your opinion. I was like, I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
And so it kept me going. And then the other day, what they dedicated to the Holy Spirit. And it always gets me upset at this point. So I'll try, I always try not to, but it was a change in my whole life. But they dedicated a day to the Holy Spirit, and they pray for you. And it was a change in my life at that point, because I didn't believe in God. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's all right. I was the exact same as you, mate. I didn't think that was rubbish. That was all nonsense made up. Yeah.
I didn't believe in God at all. I got prayed for, and suddenly I had this experience.
Yeah.
And I just uncontrollably. And again, do you know what? It's been probably over 12 years, even more.
Yeah.
And it still gets me, because at that moment when I had that experience was a change in my whole life. And it was the first time.
Did you feel relieved when you got it?
I felt a few different things, a sort of relief and happiness, because I knew God was real and these weren't lying, who've been telling me this all these years.
Yeah.
But then a little bit of realising what I'd done all these years.
Yeah.
And having a guilty conscience for what I'd done, but in a good way.
That's good.
And so I started to realise all the things I've done in my life and how bad and the people I'd affected, and it just had a huge effect on me, which sometimes still does. But yeah, it changed my life, and from overnight, I went from being one of the most dangerous prisoners in the system to like becoming like a trusted prisoner.
I believe it now.
Yeah, now I'm running around the wing like an absolute loon, you know.
That'll convince her very well.
Yeah, I was just running around, running up to all the officers, going, "Jesus loves you. He set me free. He's real," and all that. They were like, "Oh no!"
I think we preferred him the last way. That's brilliant, mate.
I thought I needed a shot.
Brother.
Yeah, man.
I had the same thing when you get it. You get that feeling, all of a sudden everything changes. Doesn't it? I got baptized to see, and I thought, it's not such a thing. And then you go, this and you're arguing.
I think everybody questions it, don't they?
Like, and so many things have happened, and it's just, it's got to be supernatural. Tony Grange, you know,
he's great. Tony's man,
absolute brilliant man. He talks to you, and it's brilliant. And we go, me and Carl will go sometimes, and we'll go. A lot of us will go. So me and my brother goes, Emma goes. And we go to the beach and say, right, we'll go to say Hartlepool, and we'll sit round the big. There's a big thing there, like a biking thing. You can sit around it, all the seats, and we sit there doing our own little things and what's on his chest and what's on his. It's all kept between us. Yeah, we don't go and tell everyone. And we just sit there and get all our troubles out, and so feel great. You come away feeling just brilliant. Yeah, but you feel blessed as well every day. You get up there. You've done amazing what you've done in your life to come from that full circle to do what you've done is unbelievable, and proud of you, and all of us people are proud of you. You know, it's just my wife loves you a bit because you were the one who actually got my wife. Can you tell the story?
Yeah, so how I met Emma at the beginning. So what happened was I was talking to someone, I'd say like an ex-pal kind of thing, and he sort of said he knew somebody called is it Thomas O?
Yeah,
Thomas. And he said he knew him, so I thought, oh, this is an excuse to preach the gospel to him. Right. So I got one of my book things and found out where he lived and went to the door and signed it and said, oh, my mate said to say hello to Thomas Owen.
Yeah.
Can you give him this book?
Yeah.
But see how God works. He had a totally different plan.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking of Thomas Owen.
This is where the dots fit on, and you go,
and then
wow.
He ended up going to prison, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm totally clear, but Emma was struggling, and she went to visit Thomas or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then she ended up. He was like, "Oh, I've heard of a lad called Shane who's a Christian and stuff." And then I just got this massive email saying, "Hi, I'm thinking of going to church, but I feel like I'll be judged, and I feel this." And it was just a massive email.
Yeah.
And so I just sort of assured her, "Look, come and blah blah blah." I said, "Come with me."
Yeah.
And she ended up going to Easter Side, and then she ended up giving her life to God. And then you've ended up giving your life to God and other people, and it's just like the ripple effect of that one little move.
Yeah, well, it's not just our little bit, there's millions all over the world.
It's crazy, isn't it? And then the same with yourselves, there's going to be other people, and you don't even see.
And we've been through God and Jesus. We've saved 37 people from committing suicide in the last year and a half. Me and Emma, we've got people in rehabs, we've got people off the streets, we've helped people get back in homes and things like that. And you just think all that help you've done to people, and you feel great inside. You go to bed tonight and you think, I'm doing a good thing again.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not all about us. It's the whole world. Everyone should help each other. People should love each other. And there's not enough love in the world, and there's just too much greed. And I want a bigger car, I want a bigger house. And it's not all about that. You can live in a little bed sit. You can have 5 cars, you can only drive one. You can have 8 bedrooms, you can only sleep in one. You can have 8 tellies, you can only watch one. So sometimes people are happy, like the lad who was in jail, like you said, was happy because he had Jesus in his heart.
Well, you get people who are millionaires who kill themselves and stuff.
Like top stars and things like that, so they're not happy. So being happy, content, Jesus in your heart helps you be content. And when you're struggling, which I have been the last 6 months or so and 10 months, just pray to God, pray to Jesus, and we just feel a better thing. And Tony will come around and pray for us, things like that, and you just feel a better person. You're helping people, not hurting people, because years ago I was going around hurting people, taxing people, which was wrong. I know that was wrong now, but I can't change the past. Shane, you can't change the past. You've got to leave that now, and you've got to say to yourself, what I did in the past is gone. God's forgive us for it. All I can do now is try and teach the kids of today and tomorrow not to do what we've done, and that's what we do. We're trying to help people. That's a good thing, which is really good. So what happened when you met Sam and everything? Yeah, so then I met Sam, and then Sam's his wife.
Yeah, my wife. Sorry. And then we had, obviously, as time went on, we've had 5 beautiful children. And as in the ministry side, as I started working for Holy Trinity Brompton, the actual Alpha course.
You do like talks, don't you?
Yeah, so I go all over. I went to top security prison in Africa, Uganda, Kampala, speaking to the death row inmates and stuff.
What was that like?
It was unbelievable.
Was it good? But
it was a good experience. But the lads in prison over in this country live better than the people in the public. It was like, that's how much of a difference it is. And when you go in them prisons, there's literally people dying of just normal infections because they can't afford to get antibiotics. So there's like charities going in so that the inmates to make sure they've got antibiotics and stuff. But it was afterwards when I was getting letters, so people were coming up to me and passing me a letter, and I'd read it, and it'd be in English saying, I've just heard your story, and it was totally amazing, and I think it's affected me and stuff like that. And I ended up doing an alpha course, started doing alpha courses in prison myself.
What are alpha courses just for the public?
Yeah, so it's an alpha course, loads of designed for people who aren't Christian, really. Anyone can go on it. Everyone's opinion is respected. They put a meal on, they'll have a subject, and then they'll just basically discuss that subject. And by the end of the course, which is a couple of 12 weeks or whatever it is, by the end of that course, thousands of people all over the world in prisons, schools, colleges, churches, they've started coming out believing in God and having a different opinion on life and stuff. So it's been having a huge effect all over. It's all over the world, basically.
Did you when I first went to church, I thought, I was a bit scared going. I'm going to get struck down by lightning bolt here. They're all going to hold desert devil worship and all. And I was going to church. I was a bit scared, tell you the truth. It was an old-fashioned church, Newcastle, if you've been, it's an old one. I went in and all singing, "Oh mate, how we don't know as the taxman," and all that. They're going to go really up like that. It's a totally different thing altogether. And I had tears in my eyes because everyone was the lump in there. And I thought, this is brilliant. All this stuff.
And it's passing that message. It's not so there's religion, and then there's a real Christian faith.
Yeah.
And people always look, if they haven't been to church, they always think it's like religion. I used to think Christians all had big long beards, all wore sandals and had cords on and had the Bible there. Hello, I'm reading Jesus, you know. But it's not. But it's not.
Only 20 grades is that.
It's true as well.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
Yeah, he is.
But it's great, and you have a good laugh as well. Everyone's telling jokes, everyone's not laughing things, but obviously we worship Jesus and things like that, and it's great to know that he's the best person in the world.
Oh, 100%,
get you back. So
he'll get you through anything as well. In the end, you can go through any battles, but he's
done it for us. He died on the cross, didn't he?
Man.
He spilled his blood and everything just for us, just to save us, and that's what he died for us, and that's what we as Christians, we really love him a bit, don't we? So
get that message out.
Yeah, we just got to walk in his footsteps, and we just follow what Jesus does.
Because can I say this little message as well?
Of course you can.
So see, the thing is a lot of people when they've done bad, they always think, oh well, how can I, God forgive me and stuff like that. The question is, well, look at where we are, and God's coming to our lives, and we've probably done a lot worse than most people.
Yeah.
But the true message of the Christian faith, it's not religion. It's not, there's a big, massive list of things you must do before you can earn God's thing, because no human being would.
No.
And it's just about accepting Jesus Christ, that he died and suffered on the cross for your sins. And that's it. And then what you'll find is the Holy Spirit begins to change it anyway. You don't even need to try. You'll just get a conscience when you're doing things wrong. And that's what I find is I've been through so many struggles, and there's one thing I'm not going to say, is when you become a Christian, it doesn't become like fairyland and, oh, my life's going to be perfect, because sometimes you have to struggle more. Because sometimes, especially like with our background, responding to things is easy. We know how to do that, or get people to respond to things. Yeah. But what is the hardest is you've got to turn the other cheek and stuff. And people say it's easy being a Christian. But I would say things like that is going against your natural nature is the hardest thing you can do. So being a Christian, don't go in there thinking, oh, it's going to be easy. And then when your first little battle and struggle comes, you run away from it. Yeah. Being a Christian is keep pushing on and pushing on.
But the devil will come in and try and show you shiny objects on you, and he tries to trap you in.
With the money, cars, drugs,
and all that, and
everything.
Big watches, gold. Yeah. Just get along with loads of different women, going on holidays, all that stuff. It's not all about that. It's just living your life now.
Are you happy? Of
course you are.
I am.
You don't need to be. I was making thousands and thousands of pounds a week before. I don't make a fortune now. I'm living. I'm helping people. We've got our YouTube channel where we're helping people in here with mental health. We've also got people like Shane, who's our friends, and we've got good Christians in our life, so we've got a better life now than I've ever had before. I was just going to get shot again. There's people trying to shoot me, people have shot at me, and people stabbing me. And I thought, this is no good, it's not good. I don't want other people to try and copy what I've done, because you end up half of them I've knocked around with. And I've done the Taxman with, they're all dead nearly now. Yeah. They're all gone. So, right, we're going to finish now. Is there anything you want to say to anyone?
No, just thanks for having us. And hope it passes a good message to you all.
God bless you all. And we hope to see you soon. See you soon. Bye now. That was brilliant.
It was all right.
Yeah, it was fantastic, mate.